Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. We are back, week 6, right?
Week 6. We are officially, sorry, no, because 17 now. We're pretty much a third of the way through the season.
Can we just talk about I'm very happy with the way this season's going, even though I've
Oh,
been wrong about a lot. But I'm genuinely happy because I felt like going into the season, not that we knew what the last two teams were going to be, but I feel like we kind of
mhm.
had an idea of like the on each side. You know what I mean? And now it's
Do you mean the worst two teams?
no, no. I just mean like who's gonna like the best.
Oh, I think you said the last two teams. Do you mean years? Last 2 years, kind of what's been going on?
No. I mean, at the end of the year, I'm saying not we didn't know who the
Oh,
last two teams were gonna be,
gotcha,
but
gotcha.
we kind of had like 4 or 5 picks in the air.
hmm
Now it's that gap is kind of closing a little bit more.
Yeah, they were I forget which show I was listening to, but they were talking something really interesting where they were talking about I think they were talking specifically about the Browns where they were like, is it a big deal if they lose this week and go to 2 and 3? And they were like, no, they could still win that division. They could still do well because like so many teams that we thought that were gonna bridge a gap like 5-0, 4-1, those teams are 2-3, 3-2, 2-2. Like this, what the Dolphins are like 4-1.
Yeah,
I think that's, and then the Chiefs I think are also 4-1. That's like it in the AFC for like teams that don't have two losses. Whereas we thought like the Bills might be there, the Jags, the Bengals.
I'm
It's
seeing.
really up for grabs still. A lot of stuff is still up for grabs, which I think is fantastic.
I'm seeing. No, I agree, man. I'm seeing people say talking about are the Seahawks a Super Bowl contender team? And I know that me and you were high on the Seahawks coming into the year, but I mean,
That's hot.
look. I still don't agree with them being Super Bowl contender teams, but I'm just saying the fact that like it's even a conversation is like wow, like this year is. I think when we look at this year, looking back on it, it's
Mhm,
going to be a special year regular season wise. Like the last couple of seasons have been like very playoff heavy driven wise, which is like
mhm.
awesome, of course. But I
Yeah.
think we're all thoroughly enjoying the regular season thus far this year.
You know what it honestly feels like? It honestly feels like that Super Bowl where it was like the Rams and Bengals, where like every other Super Bowl, it had Mahomes, it had Brady, it had the 49ers, you know. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, bam, you get the Rams and the Bengals. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Yes, but even in that year, up. I mean, well, that year the Chiefs had a little bit of a down year, but they kind of got back on track. But even in that year at playoff time, you still kind of thought like that was still a very big shot.
Well, yeah, that's why I said not like the playoffs, like the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
No, you're right
Like the
though. Yeah,
playoffs, you kind of knew what was going to happen, then it didn't. And it was like, oh, now we don't know what's going to happen. Just like how we didn't know what was going to happen in the Super Bowl. Is Burrow going to bust? Is Stafford going to bust? Who's going to bust?
man,
I
me
busted. Great Super Bowl.
me and Joe were living together in college at the time for that playoff for the 2021 to 2022 playoffs. That was special, man. That was
Yes.
special.
Very, very good time.
Got
Glad
that.
we were. I'm more so glad that we were also in college during the Brady Mahomes one because that's just
Yeah.
one that's gonna go down.
Those were
If our
and
predictions about Mahomes are correct, where like he's gonna be like a generation. I mean, he already has a generational talent. It's this generational talent versus last generational talent, and we were there to see it. That's so cool.
and
I
not
love
to
that.
mention like we were there for like Brady's last dynamic run. Like we got to
Mm.
see him, and not to mention too. I feel like it got spoken about a lot at the time, but not enough now. Like people talk about the fact that he beat off like Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees during that run, and then Mahomes. Like that was a those were two great playoffs to be a part of.
Don't forget Taylor Heineke, my boy.
Yeah. On that note, let's get
Yeah,
to
let's just start talking about this week.
it.
We can.
Where do you want to start?
I mean, obviously Thursday night. A lot of these games, I mean, I think we can, in terms of predictions,
Wait,
just skip.
I'm not. Look, trust me, I'm not about to go there. But I'm just saying. And if you watch First Things First, like for years, they always have this big ongoing joke about how the Broncos always give the Chiefs a close game. And
Yeah.
Nick Wright's retort is always the Broncos have won a Super Bowl in more recent times than they've beaten the Chiefs, which is like a hilarious but true stat.
Yeah.
But it usually is always it's never usually a washout. So I don't think it's going to be an insane blowout. But I mean, we don't have to.
Well, that's why I was gonna say is like I would love to say like we can just write this off, but for our prediction's sake, because like you're gonna predict the Chiefs are gonna win, I'm gonna predict the Chiefs are gonna win. But the way we've been blowing off some of these games is like, yeah, the Green Bay's gonna win. What? No, now I think we gotta start saying, no, of course I think the Chiefs are gonna win. Because there have been so many like just random out of nowhere upset. The Bears destroying the command. I mean, the Commanders aren't this great team, but I mean the way they beat them, we were just like, yeah, no shit, the Commanders are gonna win. We gotta start saying, no shit, I'm not putting my money on the Bears. They could win. The Broncos could win. Who knows? But I'll tell you what, if you bet on it, you got to be one hell of a lucky man to succeed in that.
Yeah, it's fair. But at the end
So
of the day,
I'll take the Chiefs at the end of the day. End of the day, Chiefs. All right. Ravens, Titans.
I think this is. Let me say this. I think the Ravens are going to win, but I do actually. I can see this being a good game between the way both of these teams are designed. I can see it being a good game. Overall, though, I trust the Ravens more, especially coming off of last week.
I was gonna say, I could see the Titans upset, but I can't really see it. I can't really see it after last week's upset, just because. I mean, yeah, the Ravens looked really bad against the Steelers, but it's that kind of thing where it was like you thought the Patriots might have had a chance against the Cowboys if the Cowboys didn't get upset by the Cardinals. I think that the Titans would have a better opportunity in this game to win had the Ravens won last week and catch them a little off guard. But obviously, I think the Ravens are the better team. I prefer the Ravens over the Titans.
Yeah.
The Ravens, I mean, both teams honestly are old as shit, but I just think the Titans are a little more washed than the Ravens. Derrick Henry is a hit or miss this season, which is kind of surprising me to say because ever since I got into the sport, and I'm not sure if you know this. Do you know like that these two teams absolutely despise each other?
I remember. You know what's funny? Has it been going on for a while?
Like 5 years, I'd say.
I was gonna say because I remember. I don't know why this is gonna sound like really weird, but when we were in Garrahy, so that had to be
College.
That had to be 2021 winter up. Yeah. I remember, like again, I had gotten off of the NFL for a little bit, but I still somewhat followed it. I remember something about a Ravens Titans game, and I remember there being like static or friction. I don't know, something, but
it was
you saying that just made me think of that for some reason.
It was because I'm pretty sure in the 2020 playoffs, something happened where like the Titans team was like we pulled a Kyrie. They started like stomping on the Ravens like logo or some shit. And the Ravens just came back and won the game, or maybe vice versa. Maybe the Titans won that game. I forget. But
I just remember, was that the year?
Really expected from two teams that like don't play each other every year. They hate each other.
I think that's cool though. But I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not complaining.
I was gonna say,
especially it's Monday morning. I mean, it's Sunday morning. The only game on. I can, eyes to the screen. I don't got to worry about other games I'm missing. It's gonna be great. So we both have the Ravens.
Hey, we both have the Dolphins.
Yeah, we both have the Dolphins. Panthers. I mean, there's not really much to say other than
no.
Adam.
Next game.
Why is Adam Thielen like low-key good without being on the Vikings? Why?
Let's just.
Kirk's better. Don't look at me like that. All right. Saints Texans.
I love this. So I'll tell you, man, can we just talk about for a second how interesting this division has become?
I mean, whose?
when it
They're on the
comes
same.
to, oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're both south,
Sorry,
but
sorry.
like different.
The,
Yeah.
the NFC South, the NFC South.
So the Texans, no, the Saints, the Saints.
Yes, the Saints.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
that's
yeah, I'd say so. I
even
mean,
hold up though. Even the AFC South too. Both of these teams' divisions, who like low key are like some of the weaker divisions.
mm,
And by the way, this happens a lot. Like low key, like the some of the worst divisions in the NFL sometimes does become the most interesting because it's such a close knit race. You know what I mean? Just because they're not as great, but
I was gonna say, I think I mentioned that on one of our early podcasts that didn't air, where
you
we were
might have.
just like we were trashing on one of the South divisions because they both, I
Yeah,
think it must have
yeah,
been in the NFC, and
yeah,
I
because
was like,
we were going off of the our divisional rankings.
yeah, so that one didn't air, but it's because they're the most competitive. Obviously, when they reach the playoffs, if it's a really poor division, then it's not going to be entertaining. Like the Bucks got absolutely demolished by the Cowboys last year, and their division sucked ass. But like that division was so interesting because during the regular season, because you didn't know who was going to make it, so it adds up different level of competition to those guys when they're out there. They're given 1,000,000% because they know, hey, we're in a position here well, we can make the playoffs. And every single team in that division feels that way. Like the Broncos right now, they're not like, I think we can do better than the Chiefs. No. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what though, every single team in that Jags division is saying that. You got the Colts saying that, you got the Texans saying that, you got the Titans saying that. Any one of those teams and the Jags, of course, could win
Well,
that division. And that's just so great
yeah.
that all those players have that mindset that they can win the division, and therefore it's going to be that much more interesting.
Took the words right out of my mouth because like I said, I still think that when the season comes to an end, the Jags are easily going to run off with this division.
Mhm.
However, like you said, as it stands at this current moment, every team because technically the Titans are in last place right now. So so as it stands in this division, right? Because the Jags are 3-2, the Colts are 3-2, and then the Texans and Titans are 2-3. So as it
Oh,
stands, like you said, each team is thinking, "Holy shit! Like we could, a couple good
yeah.
weeks we put together here, we could make a run at this." So that, like you said, that's what makes it interesting because everybody has hope. It's not like like the AFC West, even though like for example, like the Raiders are like 2-3 right now or something or whatever. But it's like
Yeah.
I don't care what they say.
Exactly.
They know they're not winning the division. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
but
And see,
and then even the NFC South, like we said, I think the fact that I mean I can't remember where we had the Bucks in the division, but I do know that we saw the possibility of what's his name? What's his name? Having
Baker.
yeah, Baker having a good couple weeks and then falling off, but I do think like it would be a cool story. Like, holy shit, if the Bucks still won the division this year, like that
Yeah.
would be like a pretty cool story. But and I
Yeah,
still
but yeah,
think
but
the Saints look good
people
too.
know. Last year the Bucks sucked. This year they suck. I mean, it's like congratulations, you went 8-9 twice and won your division. Like people
It's
know, Mike. I
no,
mean,
no, you're right, but it's still a really cool feat to be like, and again, you're right, context matters, but even if it's like, still, hey, we lost Brady and we still made the playoffs the next year somehow. I know, I get it. They were in a bad division. If they were in any other division, they wouldn't. But
mm.
that's still gonna be a cool stat, like in history, if that makes sense, especially for Baker.
I guess if your stats don't regress, like your win loss, like if you go 8-9 again, I guess it's like, all right, we went 8-9 with and without Brady.
It's like at
Can't say that
least,
for Bill.
yeah, it's like at least like okay, you lost like the greatest player of all time, and you
Mhm.
didn't completely fall off a cliff. Regardless, that's a success at the end of the day.
Fair.
So,
Absolutely. And the last thing I say before we get into this matchup finally is I see that's where I would like put the like if you got the Rams, like I know we're gonna talk about the Rams later. If you've been watching, I'm hot on the Rams. He's
I
not.
can't
If
wait
you
for
put
that
the
game. I
if you
can't
put the
wait.
Rams in the AFC South, man, it's them in the Jags, and they're 2-3 right now. They would be exactly in that position to say, "Hey, we can make a playoff run." They are. They are.
They are, but they wouldn't win it.
Not in theirs, not in their division. That's what sucks. They're in a division with the 49ers and the Seahawks. They can't make a run in that division. Anyways, I have the Texans winning this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints win it. I think it's two very equally matched teams in two very equal situations. The Saints currently have the upper hand right now because they are 3-2. Texans are 2-3. A lot of their games could have gone either way. I think these are two very similar teams. And I think it's going to be, I haven't looked at all the matchups, but possibly the game of the day. This is a fantastic game, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't know if it'll be game of the day, but I think it could be up there, so I'm not mad at that. Oh God, this is and like you said, I think you agree with this. Like this is as 50-50 as it gets.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not going to be mad at anything you say.
I'm gonna take the Saints. I just
You're
trust
fucking hot.
Well, I think it's kind of funny because I feel like you're a lot bigger on the Saints in general than I am.
Yeah.
But I think I just trust the Saints a little more. But I'm open to being wrong on that. I mean, I've been wrong about a lot, but yeah, I think I'm just a little more open to the Saints. I'm a little more open to trusting the Saints. So we'll see. I am excited for that game.
I mean, don't take the 34-0 win as anything because it was against. We'll get there.
You know I'm not going off last week, but
yeah, I know. Commanders, Falcons. This is tough. I'm gonna take.
I was gonna say another low key good game, but I'm taking the Falcons. I like the Falcons, man.
See, I want to take the Commanders. I just gotta
do
look
too.
real
I
quick
do
because
too.
I think their D line is really, really good. And obviously the Falcons are a running team. I just gotta see. Yeah, they haven't really been tested from a good running team yet. I mean, I guess James Conner did okay against them. I guess the Commanders against a running team are pretty unproven. I mean, I guess they let Justin Fields run all over him because you know how Justin Fields is. So I guess I will take the Falcons, but I wouldn't call either team winning an upset. I think it's a pretty even matchup. Like none of these teams are going to make the playoffs, right? Like we were talking like the other two teams, like the Saints and the Texans, they can make the playoffs in their division. The Commanders aren't making it in their. They're really not. I mean, I guess the Falcons could because they're in the same actual division as the friggin' Saints, but I don't think they're gonna make it above the Saints in the box.
Yeah.
They might feel like they might, but I don't think they will.
Now, before you finish, are you done with the game?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the next one. I lost track.
I have the next one, and this one I think is going to be game of the week. It is the
Colts and Jags.
Jaguars. This is my prediction for game of the week. Oh man, I think it's going to be a good game because, like you said,
the upset.
Like no, well, I'm picking the Jags, but like you said though, the Colts I think realized like, yo, like wait a second, like the Jags played good last week, but the Jags haven't looked like what people thought per se. I think the Colts are thinking like, man, if we win this game this week, woo, like that locker room right now is as motivated as a locker room could get. So I think it's going to be a tough game. I think again.
Yeah.
This is what I'll tell you, right? Because you know how I feel. I have the Jaguars going to the AFC Championship this year. I think this game is going to be the most telling so far about them. I'm not even saying that they have to play incredible, but if they can come out with the win in this game, I'll feel a lot more confident. If they lose this game to the Colts, I'm not even saying that the Colts are still gonna win the division over the Jags, but I'm just saying if the Jaguars lose this game, I'm not going to feel very confident about them being in the AFC Championship this year because this is a humongous game. They have to win this game, in my opinion.
So I'm not sure if you realize this, but the Jags have already beaten the Colts at home this year.
Yes, I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying,
I think this is the first rematch so far this year, right? Yeah. I feel like this is the first time we've been like, oh, well, they already won against them this year, so I think this is the first rematch.
Yes,
rather
let me
early.
just say, let me just say this real quick because you're right. I should have stated that before. It's not about them beating the Colts. It's more so about them knowing, like them understanding how the culture coming into it, and just seeing like if the Jaguars can play at that level. Like this is the
Mhm.
closest to a playoff game level that we're gonna see thus far. And I just
Fair.
want to see how the Jaguars react to it.
Gotta love it. I mean, everything points to Jacksonville winning this game, but I am going to call the upset. Um, I think so. They've been doing good at holding off the run, Jacksonville, but I don't know. I just kind of feel a different energy from Jonathan Taylor. He didn't get too many touches last week. He didn't do much at all, and they were working him harder in practice this week. I think he and Zach Moss are going to split it so down the middle on the run that it's going to be hard for Jacksonville to put up with. And the other thing is, I just think it's a great story. You're a story guy. You got Gardner Minshew as the backup coming in there with Richardson. He's on IR. I don't know. I just see Gardner Minshew beating his former team that just that like they gave him like a chance, but then they got like they got rid of him pretty quick, and he's gonna be like, hey, I was always a decent backup, and I don't know. I just feel like that's gonna be a great story where and so, did you know that Gardner Minshew was starting? It's such a good. So that adds to your level of like, all right, these guys like, it's already a playoff atmosphere. Now you got like some level of personal on it. Like he's like,
Yeah,
I would love to beat my former team who
yeah.
just didn't believe in me.
No, I did, yeah, and like I said, that's to me what goes into the. I have the Jaguars at this pedestal, and I'm saying
Mhm.
that if they can't respond, to me, it's going to say a lot about where they are at.
Yeah.
If they can't respond to it, it's going to be like whoa, because if you want to make those deep playoff runs, you got to respond to all of that. So that's why I'm saying, like, for me, it's like, man, if they can't pull out and win this game, they can lose this game 100% and
Mhm.
still be okay. But for me, it'll make me not feel too good about my predictions with them for the remainder of the year. But you're right.
I feel
You're
I
right.
feel like it'll say more if they lose. Because if they win, I mean, you're
100%.
talking about the Colts here. You're not talking about like someone who was supposed to come into this
But
year
you're
as like,
right. You're
their
right.
rival.
It'll
Yeah,
say
yeah, no,
more if they
I
lose.
agree. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, I just feel like it'll say a lot more if they end up like losing a game like this, where it's like, all right, like high stakes game and you lose, whatever. High stakes game you lose to the Colts, that says a lot more.
Absolutely. I
And
agree
I think if they lose to the Colts, which, like I said, I'm going to predict the upset, I think they just go off of it this week. So, no offense to the Jags. I just, I'm not going to pick the team that should win I mean, that's not going to be entertaining and it's not realistic. Seahawks, Bengals.
This could be another good game. But
Yeah.
let me just take this first.
I want to hear what you have to say. Yes.
Um I do think it's gonna be a good game. However, I am going to go on the limb here and say I liked what I saw last week from Joe Burrow.
Hmm.
So if I'm basing it off of that and I'm thinking, okay, because now in my mind, Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow.
Right.
That's me in my mind. So if I'm taking that into consideration, I think the Bengals will win. However,
Hmm.
however, I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout. I don't think it'll
Yeah.
be necessarily like. I don't think it'll come down to the wire. I think it'll be an enjoyable game because,
Hmm.
like I said, I like the Seahawks. I do. Me and you have talked about that. Again, I don't know if that
Yeah.
episode aired, but we both have said that we like, especially the young core for the Seahawks. But I still think the Bengals win this game.
I'll take Seattle.
Okay, I'm not
I
mad at
think
that.
I think the Bengals are very confident right now, as they should be after a very resounding win, but it was a very resounding win against the Cardinals. You've got a Seattle defense. I forget exactly who they played last week. I do who do you remember?
Seattle played Seattle played the
Right?
Bengals.
Like I remember the
No, no,
game,
no,
I just
not the
forget what
Bengals.
happened in it. Oh, they played the friggin' Giants.
The
Oh,
Giants. Yeah,
whoa.
that's why it
Oh.
was so forgettable.
Well, there we go. I was talking about the Bengals playing a bad team, and Seahawks had a good performance against. Oh yeah, and all right, I'll still take the Seahawks though, Because
That's
I
fair.
saw
No, I understand. I get it. I get it.
what I saw from the defense I liked. Witherspoon's pick six from the friggin' goal line. I liked it. You're talking about the Bengals going up against a Cardinals defense and getting the groove versus a defense not that stellar by any means, but solid. It's a solid defense. I like them. And then you got, an offense that I think can definitely run all over the Bengals secondary. So I mean, if we're talking Joe Burrow back to Joe Burrow form, then I'm taking the Bengals, but it's still to be seen. I
Well,
have a lot more faith in him coming into this week than last week.
yeah. I guess. I
But
guess.
it's the Cardinals, so there's
I
not
guess
really
what
too
I'm,
much that can be said.
well, what I'm saying, like real quick, my point was I saw Joe Burrow basically look like Joe Burrow last week. So from
Oh
here,
yeah, for sure.
so from here on out, I'm not blaming an injury. I'm not. I saw what I saw last week. I'm
Mhm.
judging them based off what I am seeing now. I'm
Fair.
putting them on that pedestal now that they were on last year. Let's see how they respond coming into this week. If they get blown out this weekend, we're gonna have to have some harsh conversations because as much as I love Joe Burrow, it's gonna start to become a thing where it's like, and I don't want to jump the gun here, but I'm just saying like if it starts to look bad, I'm gonna be like, wow, this
Mhm.
is we've never seen anything like this before. Like,
Right.
but I'll save that for whatever. We'll go to the next game.
All right. I'm calling Bears. Bears are going to beat the Vikings. I'm
Now,
calling Bears. That's how you know it's going to happen.
I think the Vikings are going to win. I think this is a game where it's a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday against the freaking Bears.
Fair.
Kirk Cousins is going to throw for freaking 450 yards and 4 touchdowns because he's the greatest of all time. Tom Brady in the playoffs versus 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins against
Ooh,
bad teams. Kirk Cousins is up here. It's not
there
even
you go.
close. But no, seriously.
And then you got Brady versus Eli Manning and Kirk Cousins in prime time going
that's,
in the Tank Bowl.
that's a close game. But
There.
but no, I think this is a game that the Vikings win. I don't know.
I mean, obviously I know that the Bears aren't a good team. Okay, they had a fantastic win, right? And I'm not riding that. I would probably say the Bears are going to win regardless, even if they lost. I mean, if I didn't see what I saw last week, I would say the Vikings win. But not only did they win, they looked like they knew what they were doing. They found a system that worked. The defense was great. I don't expect another great defensive showing from them just because it's so spotty. But it really seems like Fields figured out how to get the ball to DJ Moore, and the Vikings don't have good corners, so they're gonna get the ball to DJ Moore, and that's what's gonna happen. The Vikings obviously they lost their best receiver in Justin Jefferson. That is a huge, huge blow. Um, that I don't know. I think the Vikings are the better team, but I think that while the Chicago Bears just kind of found their groove, the Vikings just kind of lost their groove in losing their best wide receiver, their best player. So second best player.
Okay.
Best player.
Do we want to get to the 49ers Browns because I have something to say.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm saying like are we ready to go
Oh
today?
yes, yes, absolutely.
Man.
Don't say it.
No. The 49ers, man. Holy shit.
I was like, dude, this comment section, if anyone watched our videos.
No, but honestly, like Joe, honestly, it's me and you talking here for a second. And by the way, we will probably be talking about this game for the next 10 minutes because after I say what I say, I am curious to see how your thoughts on this game because I know how highly you feel about the Browns defense.
I do have one sentence for you, just in case this involves Deshaun Watson, just to let you know I don't think he's playing. Just in case it involved that.
Really? Because everybody has made it seem like he is.
I'll give it a 50-50. What I've been hearing is he's not. So what you've been hearing is he is. I've heard not.
First things first said he is. So I don't know.
You're gonna trust this guy? You're gonna trust the guy with the
I'm
tattoo?
just saying. I'm just saying.
No
But
doubt, Deshaun Watson is playing.
no, I'm pretty sure he is playing though. But anyways, but I just wanted to say this, like, man, going into this season, I thought the 49ers were going to be good just because I was like, they'll always be good with the system, their coaching, they have a great team, like they'll always be like into the second round of the playoffs at the very least. But god damn, man. I mean, this team is so good.
Are you holding a blunt?
Hmm.
That really looked like a blunt, but they've
Like,
what was I gonna say? They've scored 30 in all their games. 30
dude,
plus.
dude, it is like not even. It's scary.
Dude, it's unrealistic. Like, I just want to see what Trey Lance would do anywhere else, just so I can get like an idea of like if they did have like a Drew Brees or like a Patrick Mahomes or a Joe Burrow, what would they be doing right now with
That's
one
what
of
I'm
those guys?
saying.
Well, Drew
That's
Brees, obviously, but
well,
yeah.
that's why. That's why. And again, we don't have to get into this to the Brock Purdy conversation now, but I'm just saying, like, this is one of I probably can't think of. I'll say this, even if this is gonna say, even if they had Zach Wilson right now, I genuinely think they'd be undefeated right
No, I wouldn't say undefeated. I would say they'd be like 4-1 though.
now. Who would they have lost to?
I don't remember the games to a T, but I mean, it's
There
Zach
was
Wilson,
no
man.
game. There was no game that it came down to like where the quarterback had to step up and make the final play. It hasn't happened.
I mean, if we're just gonna talk about Brock Purdy really quick, I think the calls for him to be MVP are absolutely ludicrous. However, I do believe that he should be higher than what a sub. He's a top 10 quarterback. And that's just because he's done nothing to prove that he's not a top 10 quarterback. It's not like he's out here doing like Mahomes sideways throws or any of that
Hey,
shit. So
hold
you
on,
can't
hold on,
you
hold
can't
on,
say he's
hold
like
on,
the
hold
best,
on, hold on,
but
hold
like
on, hold
it's
on,
not
hold
like
on,
he's
hold on.
throwing 5 interceptions a game.
Okay, Pat Mahomes, Tua, and this is in no order. Lamar,
Hurts,
Hurts.
Stafford. No, I'm joking, Mike. Jeez.
Okay, so we're at 4 right now, right? With Hurts.
Those are like the elite. I mean, yeah, we can't even. Would you? I wouldn't even say Trevor Lawrence. Would you? Oh wait. Can we say Jared Goff?
Yes, Jared Goff. I'm putting Joe Burrow in there.
Wait,
I get it. I know.
no. If you put in Joe Burrow, you must have quit. You got to throw Kirk in there.
Okay. All right.
You're
Kirk.
throwing Kirk in there, baby.
Kirk. Then I'm throwing Trey Lawrence in there. Um,
Purdy.
Herbert.
He started the season 0-3, dude.
I don't care.
Oh, so did Kirk Cousins.
Well, not even that. If Herbert was the 49ers quarterback right now, forget about it.
Dude,
Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott. That's 10 right there.
Mr. INT. Dak Prescott just got blown the fuck out of the water by
Context matters. Context matters. The shield that Purdy has around him matters. That matters.
Dude. Okay, to an extent. Did you see how much they won by? Did you see how many interceptions Dak
That
Prescott
had nothing
threw?
to do with Brock Purdy. That had nothing to do with Brock
almost had as
Purdy.
many completions for a touchdown to George Kittle as Dak had completions to his home.
25 quarterbacks in the league would have had the exact same stat line as Brock Purdy on Sunday night. With all of that, 100%. 100%.
Stan, but what I'm saying is you cannot disprove.
No.
But if you get him out there, if Deebo Samuel, knock on wood, of course, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle, even McCaffrey, all get injured, and he's left there with like, okay, let's say one of them doesn't. Let's say Samuel doesn't get hurt for my fantasy team. So Ayuk's out. Kittle, McCaffrey, if we see him like go like 2-1 or 1-2, if we see him lose some games in that span, then there's your argument. Right now, there's no argument for him not to be a top 10 quarterback because he
Jimmy
has
G.
shown
Jimmy
failure.
G. Jimmy G.
He hasn't thrown an interception, dog. He hasn't thrown an interception.
Oh, oh. Because of the system he's in.
It's the best system in the league. It is the best
But
system.
Joe, I'm not saying that I think Brock Purdy is good. I just do think there's 10 quarterbacks better than him. And I
Do you mean to say bad?
What?
You mean to say I don't think Brock Purdy is bad?
No, I said I think Brock Purdy's good.
You said I'm not trying to say Brock Purdy is good. And continue. I get your point.
I think Brock Purdy's good. My point is, though, I just think that the other quarterbacks, I get it. Some of them have more interceptions and less completions than him, blah, 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 blah. But I still think that their stats are more impressive when you look at the totality of their teams. That's all. I think Brock Purdy is great for the system he's in. And I'll put it to you this way. I'll even go as far as this. I think if he was on another team tomorrow, he would do better than Jimmy G's doing. I don't know by how much, but I think he would be doing a little better, not by an insane amount, but still, again, I get it. It sounds unfair, but I don't know. He hasn't done anything that the top quarterbacks do something that are like they give you these moments to where you're like, whoa, this guy is like top tier. Brock hasn't given me that. He does what he does well in the system, and that might be better than being a top 10 quarterback. What he does, it might be, but
let me briefly to say this though. This is what I'm going to compare it to. I'm going to compare it to, let's say, the 2020 Steelers. The Steelers that were like, I think it was 2020 when they went like 11-0 and then blah blah. Yeah. Look, I had no issue back then because even I believed it, saying that they were not a top 5 team. They were 11-0, but then you got you got the Chiefs, you got I think Brady was still there, so it must have been 29. I don't know when it was. But
no, it was still that was his first year on the Bucs. It was 2020, 2021.
Oh, okay.
We were in
but anyways, yeah, so you had all these teams that were arguably better, but I still say no matter what, you have to keep the Steelers in the top 10 because guess what? You might have been giving them a cupcake schedule just like Brock Purdy has like, a cupcake offensive coordination, but they haven't been challenged. He hasn't been challenged by having like bad receivers or anything. So you're looking at a team that's 11-0. You're looking at a quarterback who's 9-0, 10-0 in all of his starts where he didn't tear his elbow or whatever. And it's like, you can't say that he's not a top 10 quarterback just because he hasn't done anything to prove that has a weakness. What is Brock Purdy's weakness? Tell me that right now. You don't know. No one knows.
If anybody has Brock Purdy in their top 10, I'm not mad at them. I personally don't because it's not about what Purdy hasn't done. It's about what I think quarterbacks in the league currently have done with the cards they're dealt with. That's all. If you have Brock Purdy in your top 10, that's okay. But I'm not saying he has any crazy disadvantages. I just think that the advantages that some of these quarterbacks with what they're dealt with outweigh him. That's all I'm saying in that.
All right, so me and Mike
pretty
we just
about the Niners there.
we had to end the meeting and now we're back in it. We had a short discussion there and Mike admits that Brock Purdy's a top 10 quarterback. And we both take the Niners. 2 truths and a lie. Truths and a lie. Which one's the lie?
Hold on though. Are you still easily picking the Niners if Deshaun Watson plays?
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought maybe you trusted that incredible Browns defense a little bit more, but it's all good. It's awesome.
Dude, I mean, it's the 49ers defense. Come on. I'm not delusional, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
You got the 49ers defense, you got the Browns defense. I mean,
all good. All good.
And then you got the Patriots offense and you got the Raiders offense.
Let's go to the next game. Oh, okay.
Patriots are going to, just kidding, lose. dude. I can't do it. Dude, I don't care what you gotta say. I don't care what anybody gotta say. There's no way that I can predict the Patriots to win and just watch some bullshit like that again. I'm predicting them to lose. I could see the Raiders winning, even if they got pummeled on Monday night. I would call the Raiders to win, just because there's absolutely no way, as a biased Patriots fan, I can be like, "They're gonna win." No, I look like an absolute friggin' idiot. The Raiders are gonna win this game, and the Patriots should let them. Caleb Williams.
Okay, this is kind of what I wanted to say. Bill Belichick does not. That's the last thing Bill Belichick wants on his legacy is them tanking and Caleb Williams, because Bill Belichick will, regardless of when he decides to hang it up, it will be soon. And if they draft Caleb Williams, he will not be there to see the next Patriots Super Bowl with Caleb Williams. So it'll only look worse on Bill Belichick. So that's the last thing Bill Belichick wants is the tank.
Okay, let me say a couple things. Just two. One, I'm joke. If we do get the first overall pick, I want a receiver. I mean, Mac.
No, you can't say that. You can't say
I want
that.
a receiver.
Not with this draft class. You have to. This.
Okay, I don't know the draft class, I suppose.
That's what I'm saying. So this is like there's these one in a generation type players. The Chiefs. Let me not go there. Any team outside of the Chiefs, if they got the first pick right now, should pick Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Because he's that much of a generation. But literally, Joe, any other draft class, I'd agree with you. I'd be like, hey, no, we need this guy. We need this guy.
I mean, how about this? I would trade the first overall pick for a decent wide receiver. I would trade the first overall pick to Minnesota for Justin Jefferson.
No. Nope.
I mean, I'm not saying I put all my faith in Mac, but we are worse at receiver than we are at quarterback.
Because you're thinking right now. At this point, you can't think about right now.
Who the fuck is Caleb Williams gonna throw to? Juju Smith-Schuster? It's just not gonna work. We need a receiver.
He's going to be the next, like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. This is what I'm saying. It's a once in a generation quarterback to where it doesn't matter who he has around him. That's why I'm saying this. So literally any other scenario, any other situation, I'd give you, but not this one.
Okay. I don't watch college for anyone who's watching, but I'll trust Mike on this. Who are you taking in the game?
I'm gonna take the Patriots. I think that look.
Did it again.
The Raiders suck.
Guess who sucks more?
We'll see. I'll leave it at that because me and you talked the other night on the phone. I'm just gonna anger me again, and I get it, your frustration, and I know the Patriots aren't a good team, but I think they're gonna beat the Raiders.
When the Patriots lose again this week, are you finally gonna give up on picking them?
No, I'm gonna look at what I see for each game moving forward and go from there. It's not gonna judge it based off of last week. Sorry, I'm just not gonna do it.
But the last two. Lions, Bucks, Lions.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Damn, let's hear why.
I don't have a reason. No. Okay.
You just feeling upset? That's fair.
Well, it's not even that. They're at Tampa, but look, I think this is going to be the game to where it's like, okay, the Lions are 4-1 and the Bucks are 3-1, right? Obviously, I think everybody thinks that the Lions are going to end up being a better team. But yeah. This will be the game that kind of determines whether it's like, okay, the Bucks just got off to a hot start and are gonna fade out versus like, whoa, wait a minute, like they just be a 4-1 team and now they're 4-1. Yeah. And I don't know. Like I feel like the Bucks still kind of have nothing to lose. And I do feel like there's a little bit of pressure on the Lions here because if they lose this game, people are gonna start, not asking questions, but they're going to be like, okay, like that was a pretty bad loss. And then now the conversation is going to focus on Tampa where it's going to be like, wait a second now, Tampa's 4-1. Like, could they do something here? So I think maybe I
But you
just
think that means you
maybe
think
hold
Tampa
on,
can do
hold on,
something.
hold on. Maybe I just like the idea of like
Mhm.
the Bucks winning, going 4-1, and then it's sort of being like a, like a wait a second, like we got to take them serious now.
Mm.
So we'll see.
Well, the Bucks are banged up. I don't think Mike Evans is playing.
I know. That's why I'm saying like it's probably more so just of me like wanting to see how people react to the outcome of them being 4-1.
Mhm.
But I'm still gonna go on the limb and I'm gonna go with the Bucks. Screw it.
All right. Well, I'll take Lions. Cardinals, Rams. Are you gonna tell me what I think you're about to tell me?
I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think the Rams will win.
Oh, earlier when I brought up the Rams, you said I can't wait to get to that game.
No, because I think I was looking at
Oh, you thought they were playing another team. I was like, there's no way this man's taking the
yeah,
Cardinals over the Rams. Like, I know you're
yeah,
not high on them,
because
but like, come
oh
on, it's the
no, I'll put it to you this way. For some reason, I don't know why, but when I looked it up, and it's next week's games, but they play the Steelers next week. And I'm glad now because I almost texted you the other day. I can't wait for next week for the Rams. And that would have looked hilarious. But no, they play the Steelers next week. So
who's
that
home.
I'll tell you right now.
I will fly out. I will change my departure dates.
That would be pretty funny. Because I think the Steelers have a bye this week.
They do. We didn't talk and the Packers.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's Steelers, Rams. It's at the Rams.
We're going. We'll stay with Greg. It's fine. It's whatever.
Hey, not
Shout
bad.
out. Um. Anyways. Yeah. Rams.
Yeah, I got the Rams.
Um.
Sorry for that weird cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I thought they were playing the Steelers.
Eagles. Jets. Same kind of thing. Jets could win the game just like the Bears beat the Commanders, just like the
I'll tell you this.
Raiders beat the Packers. I mean, but
I don't think
dude,
I don't
stupid
I don't
shit.
think I don't think the Eagles will not the Eagles. I don't think the Jets will put up as good of a game as they did against the Chiefs. I
Absolutely
think
not.
I think it'll be like a 2 touchdown game, which I guess is close or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't yeah.
They
Anyway.
better start throwing to the friggin' Devontae Smith. Anyways, same with the night game. Obviously, we're taking the Giants.
Cowboys Chargers, I think
I'm
that
just kidding. Oh, wait, before you get to that, we're taking the Bills.
yes.
Cowboys Chargers.
So I think this is an interesting game.
I want
However,
to hear you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just kind of took the lead on that.
No, I just said I want to hear what you got to say here.
I think this is going to be another game for me with what I said about the Jaguars, where it's like this is like we're at that point of the season now where it's like, okay, this is gonna tell me a lot about this team. Like look, I have the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. Now, with that prediction, I don't want the Cowboys to just win on Monday. I want the Cowboys to like brutalize the Chargers. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's what happens. I know that there's very easily a world where this could be a very good game. But for me, I think I'm gonna pick the Cowboys, but I'm also just saying this for the Cowboys' sake. Like if you're, I'm gonna say it, anything less than a blowout still raises some concern for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
As much I don't think the Chargers are a bad team. But if they don't come in here and make a statement win, I'm still going to look at them like, are you guys a Super Bowl team? Or are you? So that's kind of where I stand on it. But
I think there's a lot of even matchups here. I think the O-line and D-line for both teams is very strong. So it comes down to their star players that are working with the ball, like the quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll take the Cowboys in a field goal.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Austin Eckler's coming back, which is a big part of that because that makes me want to say that the Chargers are gonna win just because, um, I want to say that'll make them win, but I just don't know. Dallas is a good team that we saw what happened last time they got destroyed, even though it was against a much inferior team in the New England Patriots than the Chargers.
Mhm.
But I think it'll be the same kind of energy where they want to come back from an embarrassing loss and they'll put up a solid game where, like there are certain teams where the Cowboys as well, where it's like you don't know what kind of performance you're going to get every week. I feel like we've kind of learned what kind of performance we can expect from the Cowboys after they get embarrassed. It's kind of a great performance by them. So I'm hoping for a good game between these two teams, and I think the final drive will seal it, and I think it'll be Cowboys with the field goal.
Now let me ask you something because that's a good analysis, but because I don't know if you made a Super Bowl prediction like I did. And I'm not asking you to,
I
but
did.
I'm not saying that, but I guess my point is like, and this is just give me a yes or no because I have something more to say to this. Do you
Mhm.
do you think did you ever at a point think that the Cowboys were a Super Bowl contenders team going into this year? And when I say Super Bowl, I mean just making the Super Bowl.
This is why no. The reason no isn't that I don't think they have the talent. The reason no is the Leafs getting past the first round. It's
Who? Oh,
the
oh,
Leafs
oh.
getting past the
Okay.
first round. It's the 76ers getting past the second round. It's like if you look at the 76ers, do they have the roster?
Okay,
Do they have
okay,
the
okay.
talent?
Okay.
Sure. But
Okay. All right. So do you do you understand my point though, to where I'm like, if they just barely win, I'm going to look at it still as kind of like a uh damn man, I don't know if I can say that you're a team that I think can make the Super Bowl. Like, because I like I said, obviously like anything can happen, but these are one of those games that just can prove to me like if you can win this game, but like if you come in with a statement here, like I will feel comfortable where it's like for example, like if they come in next weekend and they win, say they beat the Chargers by like 20 plus points. Like, won't you look at it like, oh shit, wait a minute, like they're you know what I mean? Like,
well, not not necessarily. Just because
you don't think
they
it'll be
they
a
did.
good look? It'll be a good look though, no?
I mean, sure, it'll be a good look, but you have a couple problems with that. The first problem being is they already did that this year. Like we said, it was the New England Patriots, a much worse team. But you can't just keep losing games and then being like, oh, yeah, well, we can come back and win, especially when you have a team in your division that's 5-0. So guess what, Dallas? You're already taking the wild card spot, which means that you're going to have to face off against one of the winners of the division. So you're going to have to face off against a good team. That's number one. That's number one. Number two is what they were saying on First Things First, which I strongly agree with, is you've proven multiple times here, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, that you can be as good as you want, but there's one team that you're not beating, and that's the 49ers. So it doesn't matter. It's the same thing with the Packers and the 49ers. It always seems the Packers would lose to the 49ers in the NFC finals. If there's this, that you can be as good as you want. If there's one team in your conference that you can't beat, and it's a team that beats other teams and has a hard time losing, like the 49ers, like they're a really good team. It's not like the Celtics where like, the Orlando Magic beat the crap out of us all the time, but like, hey, they're not making it to the playoffs or whatever. You're getting beaten all the time by the 49ers. You've proven you can't win against a team that should be Super Bowl contenders in everybody's eyes. You're not getting past the 49ers. I don't see how I could possibly say you'll make it to the Super Bowl.
No, everything you said is right. Everything you said is fair. And I guess my only thing is like, God, I sound like a 76ers fan, but like if
Never. I'll never subject you to that.
if they win soundly this game, I guess it's like I don't count that Cardinals game. I know how crazy that sounds to people, but I just don't. I think that's a complete outlier game. That is not. I don't think that's. But let me finish. Let me finish. I think if they're able to like strike back with adversity from this, and by the way, like they can't just win this next game like soundly. Like they gotta keep on winning for me to really be like, okay, like I still feel confident in my Super Bowl pick. But I think this would be a good start versus where like if they lose this game or barely win, me personally, I'm gonna be like, I was wrong. I was wrong. So we'll
So
see.
this is the week for you.
We'll
If
see.
they lose or barely win, you're gonna say that they're not gonna make the Super Bowl.
And by the way, and I mean I don't know how you feel about this, but I think that's fair of me to say.
Yeah.
I've given them a fair amount of time. I
Mhm.
think that would be fair. Not saying they still can't get to even the NFC championship, but I
I
just
mean, I'm not saying they won't get to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and deny the fact. I just don't think they will. I wouldn't
fair.
come in
That's
and
fair.
say like if you came to me
You
like you
need
did at the beginning of the year and said the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl, I laugh. I mean, I don't think you should rule out them being able to make it, but I think you should. I think this is a fair time where you felt really strongly about it going into the season. 6 weeks in, they're not what you expected. You gave them some time. You can change your pickup.
yeah.
Like you shouldn't change your pick after one lousy game because I do agree the game against the Cardinals. I mean, it's hard to say I don't count that, but yeah, sure, that's an outlier. The issue is I absolutely, and I hope you agree, do not see the 49ers loss as an outlier. They always lose to that team. Usually it's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
ugly. Maybe to the extent of how ugly it was this time is a little bit of an outlier. Like they put Cooper Rush in the friggin'
No,
third.
it's
But
a
I mean, they were gonna lose that game regardless. It's just how it works.
no, it's a it's something that it's like if you play for the Cowboys, I know that people like they're gonna be like, oh, we want to see the Niners in the playoffs. We want to see like they're at such a like if they get to the second round again and they play the 49ers, and you know me, you know I'm someone who's like, it's tough to beat a team this many times in a row, blah, 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 blah. But I think the psychological edge now that the Niners have on the Cowboys, like
Hmm.
the Cowboys have to be, if they win in the first round of the playoff, praying in their sleep that they do not have to play the 49ers in the second round.
Absolutely.
Like they
If
they,
the
they would have to
49ers
play the Eagles any day.
if
Any
the
day.
49ers aren't in the path, which obviously isn't something you can really predict, at least for a little bit, then I would give them a much better chance to get there. I still think they're kind of like that funny haha running joke like the Sixers or like the Leafs where it's like
It's true though. Yeah.
they can be as good as they want and they're not going to get there. But I'll tell you what is the 49ers disappearing from their path would be a step in a couple of steps in the right direction for them.
Yeah, and I don't see the 49ers going anywhere. But
I have a question. Do you see Dak going anywhere? They were talking about it. I
where would he
don't. I
go?
can't
Didn't
see
he
him.
just sign? Didn't he just sign?
No, he's on his last year.
Oh,
I think either that or next year is the last year. I forget. But no, they were talking about if they don't make it to, they were saying like, all right, where did the team have to get this year for them to keep him? And I mean, I don't know. I mean, Dak, I'm not saying he's not the problem or part of the problem, but I think the Cowboys fans love Dak. I think Dak loves Dallas. I think Jerry loves Dak. I just don't see any situation where he wears another team's jersey in
I
his
think
career.
I think, and a lot of people say that Dak is the problem or whatever, but I think, and you might not get, you will get this analogy, but maybe not fully. But I think the Cowboys' problem is they are the 2017 through 2019 Houston Rockets, where they are incredible. It just so happens that the Golden State Warriors happen to be in that same conference, who are the
Hmm.
49ers. So it's like, I think we can all agree that these last two seasons, maybe outside of the 1 year where they barely lost to the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, have been the best shot the Cowboys have had in their tenure to go to the Super Bowl. And
Last year for sure. Last
yeah,
year for
well,
sure.
yeah, I'm not saying the year before, I'm saying this year and last year. Like, because I think the year prior to that was the year with that terrible play at the end of the
It
game.
might have it might have been 2 years. It was Brady's first year in Tampa
Yeah.
when
So
all the
anyways,
teams sucked.
but my point is like I don't think they're gonna get rid of Dak. I just don't like because I don't know who else they could get that would like be any worse
Yeah.
or any better. You know what I mean? So it's like I think they know that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It raises a good question though. It's interesting to think about.
Yeah, it's really what is the issue there? Because if between like honestly, the issue is there's a better team and you have inconsistency. And so
The
that doesn't
coach
mean you
too.
have
I don't think what's his name is a great coach either. I'm not big on him either.
McCarthy. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you don't have like a position where it's like we need to bolster this or like I need a better defense or we got to trade the wide receivers. No, you have everything you need to win a Super Bowl. You just it's unrelated things. It's outside things that happen that just cause them not to. You have the talent for sure, and that's what must be so difficult for teams like that, like the 76ers, like the Leafs, like the Rockets that year or whatever, like the Cowboys, is like it's not like there's many moves you can make to make your team better. You have a fantastic team, and honestly, you should keep your picks because you can just build on that fantastic team. It's just it's always something that seems to get in the way, and it's not something that you can replace with another player.
I agree. I agree. On that note though, Joe, you have a Bruins game to attend to, and
Well, so yeah, yeah, on my couch.
I'm going to respect that. Yes, of course, on the
Good
couch.
man.
Yeah. But want to make sure we get you out of here before that. Hope you enjoy it. I'll be honest, I wasn't excited for this weekend. After talking now, I'm actually excited for this weekend for NFL Sunday.
There you go. Yeah, there you
Stay,
go.
stay tuned for more though, because we're going to be having. I know Joe just put up an NHL preview yesterday, I believe, right? Or was that today?
It was
Gonna air
whenever you
today.
upload this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Um,
Tuesday.
we're gonna have that. We're gonna be reviewing the album Austin by Post Malone.
Hmm.
And then I'm
So
also
more album reviews, more NBA stuff, especially from Mike. I know he has a couple of rap albums that he wants to get into.
yeah,
Um,
I'll be doing this weekend I'll be busy with doing NBA, standings reviews. I'm gonna go crazy with that. I might just separate it into like mini clips. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm gonna do something
mm,
with that. Definitely gonna review Drake's new album For All the Dogs that literally everybody on the planet, even Drake fans seem to hate except for me. So we will see. But
and Connor likes it too.
he likes the first half of it. I know for a fact when he finishes it, I know. I know.
Yeah, yeah, because
I know.
he talked to you about halfway through it and then he
No,
never
trust me.
responded.
Trust me. I know what the first half versus second half sounds like. I know for a fact how he's gonna feel about the album. But
I had a feeling because he was like he said in the recording he sent us a voice recording. He said, "If it keeps going like this might be my favorite album ever by Drake." And then Mike was like, "Yeah, that's sick." And then he just never said anything else. So I just kind of figured, I'm like, oh, the second half must not
yeah,
have been as good.
no shot, no shot.
It's so funny, man.
Yeah. So we got a lot of cool things to look forward to, and
Yeah,
with that, we'll catch you on the next one.
absolutely. Like, subscribe, do all the things. See you next time.